Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor McGilligan. We are back with another Rumour Mill this morning. I need to get the intro going, don't I? I need to get the intro going. I need to get it back on to what it was, which is, listen, you guys might not like the glitz and the glam around it every now and again when I'm doing the intros. I've got the graphics here, there, and everywhere. So, listen, your raw Rumour Mill is what you're getting today. Listen, before we start, everybody, I hope you're enjoying the lives. Most mornings, it's 3 mornings on the bounce where we've done lives. We do your roundup of the day at the end of the day as well, because I know there's a lot. When I look at my analytics of individuals who, listen, live in different time zones and get up at different times. So what I'm trying to do is facilitate all of you. And throughout the day, there is kind of a bonus bit on the channel as well. If something comes out, you know, I'm never going to be shy to be taking that around and recording myself. If something comes out, that's well worth discussing. Also, guys, we've got Patreon. I'd really get involved. It is Thursday. The giveaway shuts tomorrow. Tomorrow, it is free to get involved. Listen, the merch is unbelievable. Top quality stuff. Get online as well. If you've ordered before, you get 10% off your next order. It's really well worth it, everybody, I'd say. So, and all the proceeds go towards running the channel. Okay, so I wanted to get into a few of your comments just to start the day as well, but we've got many things to speak about today. We're going to start with a little bit of chat on Marcelo Bielsa, which is exciting stuff, and I know a lot of you guys are massive fans of the Uruguayan national team all of a sudden, which I find quite interesting. And yeah, with what he's doing on the international stage, it just shows the pedigree of the man. It just shows of what it's almost it's inexplainable what this guy has done and is doing still in football at his age, and the product of football that he's still able to dial on and sort of, you know, convey to his players, and they're able to distribute it. And anyway, we'll get onto that in just a little bit. That's going to be the first thing we speak about. We're going to be speaking about transfers. Leeds have been linked to an individual who looks like he's turned down Everton and is in the sphere at this moment in time. Everton have pulled out because of wage problems with him. And we're going to get into the final bit of conversation as well, which is going to be Brenden Aaronson. We're going to be discussing what you guys say in the comment section below, as always, as well. So we'll see who's here today. Morning, everyone. Hello, Jace. Hope you're doing well, mate. Love the chat with KG yesterday. Morning, Ricky. Really in-depth stuff. Yeah, and I hope you did. I hope you did, mate. Like, that's sometimes it's hi, Riley. Yeah, guys, can we smash the likes up as well, because we're getting the disparity in likes is mental, and it's not one of these things. It's not like begging for likes. It's one of these things where it just ranks higher up the algorithm, so your family, your friends can see it if needed, and it just helps a lot. So, but yeah, I think a lot of you guys know that me and Cage as an example do watch a hell of a lot of football. I am a complete loser when it comes to football, and I love the analytics side of it. I love the scouting side of it. We basically went through the whole pretty much football pyramid yesterday and looked at players that we think Leeds would really benefit from. We tried to do a little bit of in-depth discussion about it, the pros and cons about getting certain people. KG came with his list, I came with mine, and genuinely, everyone, it's really worth an hour and a half of your time. You know, I would highly recommend it. So, yeah. Monica, mate, hi, Derek. No coincidence that he's been relegated with Leeds than it happening again. Morning, Connor, loving the content. Ruby says, can you bring in Ellis again? We can do, mate. We're going to have a topic to discuss, but I can bring Ellis in if that's something that you guys want. Okay, so let's get on to the man, the Argentinian man, and Connor's brought back his yerba mate for the chat. So there you go, everyone. If you're not understanding of this is an Argentinian custom of which they are all used to over there. They bask, they bathe in yerba mate, as do the Uruguayans. So I thought I'd get it out this video. Pause. But yeah, Bielsa's side went and absolutely romped Mexico. We need to have like a Bielsa beat or something like that, a Bielsa breakdown, you know, every sort of international break, so we can focus on the great Argentinian one who brought us such great times here. But yeah, we listen. Oh, sorry, guys. Hold on a sec. Systems. Hold on just a second. There we go. And we're back. Live streaming, everybody. Live streaming. Yeah, so Marcelo Bielsa went to obviously international duty with his Uruguayan side and bashed up Mexico 4-0 last night. Now he's almost on the Grim Reaper sort of death list now. He's gone past Brazil, he's gone past Chile, and he's getting up an absolute hit list, and the Uruguayans naturally love him. And I'm just really happy for him. And last night, I just wanted to speak about it in particular because there was one goal. It was their fourth goal, I think, which was just so reminiscent of Leeds United. It really reminded me as well of the Swansea game. You know, the Pablo Hernandez finish where it was built from back to front, Luke Ayling on the overlap. And a little bit different this goal. It was a little bit more central. And yeah, just what a goal. What a goal from back to front, speed, everybody flying forward. And listen, from where we were, yeah, exactly, Jonesy. Yeah, exactly. You know, from where we were with Marcelo Bielsa, and listen, how it ended and all this sort of stuff. Football ends like that, doesn't it? But it's just amazing to see him, even with I mean, we've seen it in his career, haven't we? But how many managers can you look at coach wise and say he's done it with the bottom level player, which I think a lot of those Leeds United players were when he came in, and he can do it with the top level players, and they'll all buy into his system, all of them. It's just the guy is a genius. And listen, we are all Bielsa widows. We all wanted differences at that moment in time when it came to Bielsa leaving and Bielsa staying. I completely understand that. But him moving on, I maybe didn't realize at the time that football would never be the same again. You know, football will never be the same again. And it really isn't. And it's funny when you compare that to Daniel Farke. And it's really unfair on Daniel Farke, but I'm just not sure I'll ever feel the heights of Marcelo Bielsa football ever again. I just don't think that will ever happen. But, you know, we'll always enjoy football, but will we ever enjoy it like we did with Bielsa? I'm not 100% sure we will. Okay, next on the list, everybody, Bobby Decordova-Reed. Now, according to a couple of sources on Twitter, and obviously, you know, articles, they're suggesting that apparently there was a breakdown between Bobby Decordova-Reed and Everton. And apparently Leeds United are now in full swing, if you will, when it comes to negotiations with Bobby Decordova-Reed, or at least are interested in acquiring Decordova-Reed. Now, I think this will be a really, really nice signing. Me and KG were speaking yesterday about experience. He's got experience Championship level, Premier League level, non-penalty goals, extremely high. His goals and his assists over his Premier League tenure in a Fulham side who, you know, context applied, haven't always been the greatest, has been really decent. He can play pretty much anywhere along that four. He's 31 years of age, and he's also on 32 grand a week. You know, so it's not an astronomical fee when it comes to wages. Forest apparently and Leeds are now looking at him. You know, what's going to happen with Forest? Are they going to be looking at maybe a little bit of an elevated player profile? Would they go for a 31-year-old? There's conversation on the Trent that they're going to be looking at a little bit more of a younger profile when it comes to individuals that they're going to be signing. But Leeds United, on the contrary, are looking for experience. They are looking for players who can play minutes and prosper there. Now, it's fascinating there because we were speaking yesterday as well on the show with KG about number 10s. And Daniel Farke, when he was at Norwich, had a number 10 in Cantwell, had a number 10 in Buendia. Now, what he's had with Leeds United is just a rapid team, an absolute rapid team who are raw, they are agile, and a lot of it is based on power and pace. You know, Somerville, Nonto, Rutter you could put in there when he's running with the ball. Very, very different profiles to Buendia and Cantwell, who are behind the striker, Timu Pukki. And yeah, I'd say the pacing and behind that was maybe on El Hernandez, but that was it really. So it was very, very different. And we go even further back to the midfield, the double pivot. There was experience in there, but there was goals in there as well. These are probably things that Farke, needs to change. Now, I think with Daniel Farke, what I would say is I think there's a large reliance on the better players in the side. Naturally, of course, there is. When Buendia was out of that Norwich side, the results were staggering. Buendia was the man, and when he wasn't available, Norwich really, really struggled. Now it's going to be interesting to see how when Somerville leaves Leeds United, how are we going to be able to cope? You know, you almost need to have someone else to take the burden off Somerville, but you need goals from everywhere, really, don't you? And in that season with Norwich, he did have it from everywhere. A couple of seasons with Norwich, but especially that first one in 18-19. Excuse me. So I think overall it's going to be interesting to see how we sort of mix these goals about when it comes to midfield, when it comes to the three behind the striker, but also consistent goals from a striker. But yeah, overall, everybody, I think it's really key to note that it'll be fascinating to see how he goes about this summer. Will he go with 2 number 10s? Will he go with 3 number 10s? Are we going to be that powerful and quick with the 3 in and behind the striker, or is it going to be a little bit more guile? Is it going to be a little bit more composure? Because I think we saw at moments this season, at many moments this season, where Leeds did prosper a lot from those transitional counter attacks where we just we just killed teams when it came to the pace, but obviously the element of quality as well. But I think that big word composure was missing a hell of a lot. I think it was missing a hell of a lot throughout the season, to be quite honest with you. And I think elements of the composure, well, a lot of the composure did come from the Flying Dutchman on the wing, and around the rest of the squad. For me, the other sort of like 5 or 6 bodies you had going forward, I didn't think there was a lot of composure at all, and maybe that's what he's going to be looking at. So Bobby Decordova-Reed will provide that in the Championship. He's done it before. He's a calm head in front of goal. And his stats are actually really decent for a 31-year-old who's played in the Premier League. Has played, I believe, 33 times this year, got 7 goals. Be a really good pickup, Bobby Decordova-Reed. And even if it was just, he's going to be looking at now at 31 years of age, the biggest contract he can get. If you can give him almost like a 2-year deal, if he's only been on 32 grand a week, which has been reported at Fulham, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad whatsoever. I think that's a really good pickup, especially, as I've just mentioned, everybody, several times, the experience factor, which is massive in the Championship, something we didn't have. But then also maybe it molds us a little bit more to 31 years of age. Bobby Decordova-Reed isn't a Somerville, isn't a Nonso, but maybe he's almost that number 10 who can sit in behind the striker and really start to control things. I like that a lot. I think, it's not a name that I would have turned around and gone, what about Decordova-Reed? But the wage he's on, the fact that he's a free agent now as well, is the age as well, and the quality overall. I think it'd be a really decent addition. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Really fascinated to hear what you say there here. Lisa says, morning, Connor. Hi, Lisa. Ricky said his cousin was a pro footballer and his sister's a Labour MP. A family to go with. Yeah, keep getting your comments in the section below. Ruby says, is it signed a 31-year-old doing completely against the flow of what we want? To be honest, and Jack just said he'd take Decordova-Reed as a Bamford replacement. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where we play him, to be honest, because I know he's played in the 10 with Fulham as well, but he can go to go as a number 9 as well. But I think he just pull back as a number 10 a little bit more frequently, but he can play either side. And as I say, it just depends how Farke sets up. If he's going to do 10s, then that's going to be fascinating to see how that develops. But no, I don't think it is, Ruby. I think you look at the age of the squad right now, the demographic is very, very low when it comes to well, I should say that the age range is very, very low. Let's go through the squad at the offensive standpoint. Anyway, Ampadu 22, Gruev just turned 23, Somerville 20, 21, Nonso 20, Archie Gray 18, Rutter 2021, Joel Peru's only 24. So with getting rid of Cooper, with getting rid of Dallas, with getting rid of Ayling, Bamford potentially leaving, you have a lot of kids there. A lot of kids. Rodon potentially leaving as well. What's he, 25, 26? Probably one of the more experienced heads in the group leaving as well. It's a lot of youngsters. So I know people think that football is just won on pure quality and pure quality alone, but that's just not the cold hard facts, unfortunately. It's not how football works. In key critical sort of big moments, you need experience in there. And people might say it's just almost like a fair weather attribute, but it's really not. So a 31-year-old coming in to almost web together a lot of that youth, which I still think we'll have next year when it comes to potentially getting in Johnny Rowe as a Somerville replacement or Raksaki as a Somerville replacement, as 2 examples. I think you need to dot that around with a little bit of experience. Riley says, Georgie on the right wing and O'Hare in the middle would replace Buendia and Campbell nicely. Yeah, similar profiles with O'Hare as well. I think O'Hare and Buendia are very similar when it comes to just attributes. They're not, they're not the same standard of player at this moment in time in their career, of course, but O'Hare does have that stature. He does have that balance as well, which was always attributed to Buendia as well. But yeah, key to note that. Key to note. Yeah. Would rather go for Silas. Morning, Connor. Hi, Lisa. I think I've said that. As a freebie with a wage package, it's probably a no-brainer. Chelsea is a good example. Lots of potential and no experience. Struggle to see games through. Yeah, I think it's really key to know. I think. And Ricky's just said that the key remit is automatics. I think with a lot of you guys and myself included, who agrees and is almost like synonymous with what you're saying in terms of the automatics. I think I'm going to do a prediction video, almost like a bookies prediction video already. On where I think Leeds are going to finish and why I think Leeds are going to finish at that point, even though we've not signed anyone yet. But reflecting on what's been going on and what will go on, I think what we have to take into consideration is the churn again. And these loan clauses, unfortunately, have killed Leeds from what Victor Orta's put in place. They've really, really hurt the club. In terms of financially, it's protected us a little bit, but bringing these players in on mass wages and bringing them in for big money has meant that Leeds have had to somehow get rid of them without literally going into financial oblivion. So Victor Orta has had to design it in a way where we utilize amortization and spreading payments on an almost installment Klarna regime schedule. And yeah, I think the difficulty about this is by doing this is going to hamper Leeds. And I said this on a stream, speaking to a lad down there, and he was essentially saying that it's going to hamstring Leeds for a few years. And it wasn't just a 1 year thing when it came to the loans. It's going to spread onto the second year and potentially onto the third year if they can't get rid of players. And we're going to get onto one player in just a little bit. But we've got to take this into consideration. And unfortunately, those loans are going to be with Leeds when it comes to certain personnel for potentially years to come. And that is the spread of the payment. It's because Leeds can't get rid of them with the wages that they're on, the contract length that they were brought in on, some of which were 4 or 5 years. So that's the problem that you've got right now, and the 49ers have got right now, just because the dim-wittedness of a previous technical director's ego of bringing in certain players when you could have just got the cream of the crop of the division below, who you had some very, very talented players in there at that moment in time, aka Mbuemo, Tony, Watkins, etc. Obviously Watkins came up with us, didn't he? But no, he didn't, did he? Actually, he was on that at Brentford. But yeah, as I say, there's experience which needs to happen there. Okay, so let's get on to that. And I wanted to transition sort of seamlessly into that when it came to, Leeds' way forward. And it's Brenden Aaronson, and you'll see that in the thumbnail, everybody, that this is getting a little bit more and more real now when it comes to him returning to Leeds United. He's going away for friendlies in the coming weeks, so Leeds aren't going to be able to fully negotiate with them. I think they're playing teams in Latin America, the States, and maybe a couple of South America teams have to do a bit of a checkup on that. But Brenden Aaronson's going away with them, and he's actually been quoted as saying, "I'm not focusing on anything else apart from international football at this moment in time." So, that is a slight worry for me. It's a slight worry because you do look at that and you think Leeds are not really going to be able to resolve this if we're looking logistically. We're not going to be able to solve this by the time that we want to, really. If we're looking at that money that we need to pay back, could we have got rid of Brenden Aaronson for a decent fee? Potentially, but we would have made a loss on the books anyway. But it feels like right now, when we take all conversation aside and we just look at it plain and simple, black and white, Brenden Aaronson, in my opinion, is going to be in the Leeds United squad next season. I think this is going to happen. I think it's pretty obvious. Union Berlin have said they don't want him back. Now, could you get potentially a newly promoted German club looking at him? Would you get even just a Bochum looking at him in the Bundesliga who managed to stay up on the last day of the season and pay a certain portion of his wages? We have to look at that, because with amortization spread over potentially 3 to 4 years, where Leeds are actually having to get other clubs donating to his wage structure as well, are they going to be willing to pay that percentage of his wage structure as well when it comes to certain clubs who maybe aren't at the level of, let's say, Union Berlin? That's something that Leeds are going to have to iron out with the contract negotiations. Leeds aren't going to say, well, we'll pay 80-90% of it and you can pay 10% of it. It's just not going to be worth Leeds United's time. So you need to be going to a club who are going to be willing to pay a decent amount for Brenden Aaronson when it comes to his wage structure. We're not talking about transfers here, everybody. We're talking about a loan. you know? So I'm a little bit worried about that side of things, to be quite honest with you. A lot of people saying, do you think you'll make money from Aaronson? I don't. I think he's probably one of them. You might make money on Rocker. You might even make money on Christensen if a mad club comes in and goes, he has a good season and they pay 12 million for him when we brought in 10. We're going to make money on Verba. Harrison, there's a likelihood we could make money on him, although that extra year loan deal has inhibited us a little bit because his stock's relatively high now. Will Dyche be in the job next year? If he's not in the job next year, will Harrison fit in with another manager's plans? He's very wedded to that Dyche system, isn't he, with him and McNeil on either side? There's an argument Dan Hume is a better footballer than him, and another manager would play him, which would mean that Leeds would have to have Harrison at the club if there's no other suitors. So there's a lot of factors that go into this, but I think they'll make profit or near enough profit on a lot of players. The big problem is Brenden Aaronson. Huge. Buying him in for 30 million quid. You've got to balance that up against the books. And if a club's not willing to come in and pay 15 to 20, which is so unlikely at this moment in time, the only thing we've got looking for us at this moment in time is I don't know, like, would you say his age? Maybe his age, 22, 23 years old, whatever he is, he's still going to be on the international scene, hopefully at points when it comes to the States. You're just praying that he's able to get some form together, and then everybody, it's not going to be, let's get him back in the Leeds United squad. No, because we hear that too often. Get rid of him and let's get him balanced against the books, but off the books, if that makes sense. So yeah, he is a bit of a problem at the minute, and I thoroughly believe I've said this before. I've said this, to a couple of my mates as well. I think he's going to be in the squad for Leeds next season. If a team takes a chance on him, fair play. But I don't know. It might even have to be like an Austrian team. Can he get some interest from the MLS? That's another thing which you'd probably be looking at when it comes to loans. Maybe even a transfer if a club is that way inclined. But the only benefit we can take from this is his age. And if he's to come off the bench for Leeds for 20 minutes, then he might press other teams into oblivion a little bit and force a mistake for one of our better players to put in the back of the net. But Leeds need to get him out on loan, really, to balance that against the books. So I don't even think him starting and him remaining at Leeds is an option. I think he will stay at Leeds, but I don't think Leeds as a company, as a structure, can allow him to stay with the payment spreadage that we need. Dan says, can we not pay him to Salzburg due to the Red Bull link? Yeah, you'd hope it. I mean, FM Michael said give him a chance. It's once again, mate, it's about spreading those payments and it looking good on the books. And Leeds have got to do that for, I believe it's 5 years. And then 5 million quid gets knocked off each time. So Leeds are then able to reduce that amortization. And then they're able to sell him on for a cheaper fee a little bit later on down the line. So 2 or 3 years, they might be able to sell him on at what, 25, 26 age he will be, I believe. Then they might be able to sell him on for 10 million. It'll look good against the books. So, yeah, I've no idea, though. Maybe there can be a link there with Red Bull. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, everybody, I think that is where we are going to leave it today. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We're going to have a little bit of a roundup for you later on as well. I know some of you have just... Dan says, did you just put an advert in the middle of a live stream? No, I didn't, mate. Unfortunately, YouTube controls your advertisements, mate. As you can see, I'm hands-free right now. YouTube controls that now. They've done a different sort of way of putting ads in the video, which has only been out a month or so, and yeah, it's quite difficult to control. But yeah, no, I think it depends on you as well in a certain respect, how long you've been watching, etc. I don't know, but guys, make sure you like the stream. Really appreciate it. I'll be doing these most mornings. Well, no, every single morning. This weekend might be a little bit difficult, but I will try my absolute best. Make sure you tuned in, like the video, comment your thoughts afterwards as well. Subscribe as always, everybody. We've got bonus bits on the Patreon, including Generation Leeds Across the Pond and a giveaway. It's been an absolute pleasure. Leave your comments in the section below, and we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.